Marvel fans, when it rains, it pours. We just got a ton of new information about Avengers Doomsday and RDJ's Doctor Doom. Part of this is coming from Alex Perez and the Cosmic Circus. Part of it's coming from Daniel RPK. They both just dropped a 1-2 punch of crazy info. And oh, baby, this shit is juicy, and it gets even more juicy when you consider all the other crazy rumors that are out there. You give it context, and you go to fucking speculation town, which is exactly what we're gonna do in this video. Okay, first up, let's talk about Daniel RPK's shit. First thing he said, pretty stupid and boring, but whatever. Avengers Doomsday is about to wrap. Okay, so it wrapped filming, and the only reason this matters is because it's going to give them 15 plus months of time to work on the visual effects. And of course, they're going to do an assembly cut of this movie, and then they're going to look at it, see if they like it, and they're going to make changes. They're going to do reshoots. The only other thing I want to add here is there's a lot of people out there talking about how Marvel doesn't have finished scripts, and this whole idea of planned reshooting is crazy, and this is a recent development. The truth of the matter is your favorite MCU movies and your least favorite MCU movies were all made this exact same way. They very rarely have finished scripts. Even Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was a spec script written by the co-writer of that movie. Then James Gunn came in and adjusted it. This is what Marvel does, dude. They do it. They don't have it all figured out. They assemble the movie. They get a lot of feedback, and then they change the movie. So they've stopped filming it. They're going to look at it, and they're going to, in a couple of months, probably do reshoots to tighten it up, and they have a ton of time for the visual effects. All right, next up, we have Daniel RPK saying this. In Avengers Doomsday, Doctor Doom is going to have a vendetta against the multiverse. Now, this is absolutely insane. This is, for the very first time, a scooper other than Alex Perez hinting that whatever Doom's motivation is, it has to do with the multiverse itself. Lately, My Time to Shine has been talking a lot about Steve Rogers and how Steve Rogers going back to live with Peggy caused the incursions, and that's the main plot, and Doctor Doom wants to go stop that from happening. And a lot of us were like, that can't possibly be what's really motivating Doctor Doom. And this new scoop from Daniel makes it seem like it is connected to the multiverse. Now, this tends to corroborate that report from Alex Perez, which is that the motivation for Doctor Doom is going to be that he's going to understand the multiverse, and he's going to understand that it's a fake multiverse, that the original version of the Prime 616 universe had Doctor Doom just being Doctor Doom. And that version of the universe had the X-Men and the Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, and the Avengers all in a singular universe. And it appears that after the multiversal war, He Who Remains uses the power of Goliath, separates out the sacred timeline, but he also separates that sacred timeline into these different strands. That is why you have a Fantastic Four universe, even though the Fantastic Four are not really in the sacred timeline. That is why you have X-Men universes, but the X-Men are not really in the sacred timeline. That is why you had entire Spider-Man universes, and on and on and on. Now, on the one hand, this is just kind of a cool meta idea from Marvel to explain why the universes in live action from the catalog of everything that was Marvel over the past 30 to 50 years was not all connected the same way the comic book universe was. In all reality, Marvel, of course, sold the license to these different characters in the 90s because they were going bankrupt. That's why Sony has the Spider-Man stuff. That's why Fox had the X-Men stuff. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that Alex Perez had been teasing this for some time, that Doom's motivation was going to be connected to the reality of the multiverse, which is really a multiverse created by He Who Remains. That's the most important thing to keep in mind. So this is another incredibly good scooper and insider saying something similar to what Alex is saying. I think now we can really start to believe that Doctor Doom's motivation will be connected to the multiverse. Thank God it's not as stupid as My Time to Shine was trying to get us to think it was. All right, but now let's get into the last thing that Daniel RPK said, because it's nuts and it actually connects to some new stuff that Alex Perez said just today. So what Daniel RPK said was, in Doomsday, the MCU X-Men universe is going to be on a course to destroy the multiverse. Here's what he said here. In Avengers Doomsday, the X-Men universe is on a path to destroy other universes, including the MCU's Earth 616. Now, hold on. Wait a minute. That's nuts. Here's why that's insane. We already knew that the X-Men were going to be in Doomsday. It's all over the place. James Marsden's doing actual red carpet interviews talking about how excited he is to be a part of it. We know from the chairs. We know from the leaked set videos that this is an X-Men universe. The rumors are that this is going to be a Utopia X-Men universe, like a version of all the Fox X-Men, but where the X-Men win and thrive. And we also know it's the same universe from the end of the Marvels movie, where Monica Rambeau gets trapped, and then we see Kelsey Grammer's Beast. There's reference to Charles Xavier, and by the way, they knew about other realities in that post-credit scene, which is really important. And you had Binary there too, right? Maria Rambeau, Monica's mom, is there as well. This new scoop from Daniel indicates that this X-Men universe is probably not just some innocent bystander that is going to be the victim of incursions, and that Monica's going to create an incursion between them and 616. This indication from Daniel is that they're on the warpath, that they've possibly been destroying other universes already, and they might just set their sights on 616 next. And if we're talking about the game of worlds, if the multiverse is ending and it's all just going to be left to one singular universe at the end, maybe the X-Men already know that. Maybe that X-Men universe is already fighting for their survival. Maybe they have an Illuminati. Maybe Magneto is secretly out there destroying different universes. But okay, if that wasn't crazy enough, we've got new stuff from Alex Press. Couple of things I want to say. Let's start with this thing about the Scarlet Witch. Alex is asked about Wanda and Doom and about Magneto and the family reunion that Alex has reported on in the past. Here's what he says. He says, in an unofficial capacity, I heard we'd be getting a Wanda variant from the X-Men universe that we'll see in Avengers Doomsday, which is a universe where Magneto is finally ruling Genosha as he always pictured it, and we'd have like a royal family type of situation with Eric, Pietro, Wanda, and Polaris. This is an idea that Marvel's pushed around since Multiverse of Madness and then in Deadpool and Wolverine, but it never feels like a good fit because it feels like it would take away from the overall plot of those other movies. However, the main point that they would like to explore with Wanda is the father-daughter relationship with Eric. Now, number one, Alex totally dodges the Doom and Wanda thing. That's kind of interesting.
Why?
But he does talk about how Wanda is going to be in Doomsday, from what he's heard, and she will be from the X-Men universe. Now, in the context of this universe here, destroying other universes, right? Because that's what Daniel said, is they're on the warpath to annihilate other universes and even 616. Well, all of a sudden that gets me thinking about the Scarlet Witch, right? This prophecy that she's either supposed to rule the cosmos or destroy it. Seems like she's doing a lot of destroying of the cosmos. And wouldn't it be fascinating if she was manipulated by Magneto or by an Illuminati of this X-Men universe into being this crazy force that's out there destroying other universes? And is that perhaps where she meets Victor Von Doom? Because Victor Von Doom is apparently out there studying the multiverse. So if Wanda's secretly out there destroying multiverses, if Doctor Doom is secretly out there destroying multiverses, wouldn't they maybe meet up? Maybe form a connection, maybe something that'll be explored in the film. And I say that because there are rumors that Wanda and Doom are supposed to have a romantic relationship in Doomsday, and this would be an insane way to pull this off. I've been thinking a lot about what character from the X-Men universe might end up just working with Doctor Doom secretly, because it feels like Doom is going to be manipulating a lot of people in this film. And for whatever reason, I kept thinking it'd be Magneto, like Magneto and Doom, maybe they work out a deal, but maybe it's Wanda. Maybe Wanda and her all-powerful, crazy abilities is a great match for Doom, and they meet each other out in the game of worlds trying to destroy other universes, and she's the one that is secretly working with Doctor Doom. Now, another thing Alex says in this new Cosmic Circus Q&A is talking about the power set for Doctor Doom. This is really interesting. He's asked about what power set Doom will have for Doomsday and Secret Wars, and Alex says his genius intellect that he's gathered from studying the multiverse and his master manipulation skills. Oh, and magic. Now, that's absolutely wild. So Alex is literally saying here that Doctor Doom has been studying the multiverse. Again, that's potentially how he meets Wanda, which is really cool, but it's also a perfect explanation for the real motivation of Doctor Doom, right? Like, Doctor Doom is not some dude that just existed in that Fantastic Four universe, was an absentee dad and didn't help protect against Galactus. Oh, and then he just randomly figures out the multiverse is dying and Steve Rogers pisses him off, so he wants to go kill Steve Rogers. No, that's not what it is. Doom was not present in the Fantastic Four movie because he was already studying the multiverse and the collapse of the multiverse. Doom will have an incredible amount of power and knowledge about the multiverse, the different timelines. This includes 616 and its entire history, as it is the sacred timeline and the one that's the most important. But it will also likely include all of these other universes. Doom's going to be using the knowledge of the multiverse to manipulate all of these characters. And one example that we've heard about this is he knows he looks like Tony Stark. So he's going to present to 616, the Avengers, that he is a version of Tony Stark. And maybe he is in some way, but he's also evil as fuck because he's Doctor Doom. But he knows that he looks like Tony Stark. So he's going to use that to his advantage to get the Avengers of 616 to trust him. And that's just one example of how Doctor Doom is supposed to be manipulating everybody in this film. I think this also proves that Doom was out there studying the multiverse, and he has given that knowledge to Reed Richards. That Reed Richards is going to be working with Doom to try to eliminate the threat of these other universes and try to save their individual universe. So all of this is crazy. It gives us a lot of questions about where this could could be going. But I think the main takeaway is that you have a lot of really good insiders starting to indicate that whatever is going on with Doctor Doom has more to do with the multiverse overall and the lie that is this multiverse because of He Who Remain than it does Steve Rogers. In this new Q&A, Alex is directly asked about My Time to Shine scoop that Steve Rogers caused all the incursions and Doom's trying to kill him. What Alex says is that Steve caused an incursion, but many other characters caused incursions, so therefore Doom is just going after everybody that caused incursions. That might have a deeper meaning. That might be connected to the Prime universe and to the people from that universe that are maybe able to cause branch timelines. Like maybe it's the case that all the branches off of the sacred timeline are happening when variants from the original Prime universe make a decision outside of that, and then they then cause that branch timeline to exist and persist. I think the main thing to remember is it's just not as terrible as My Time to Shine was getting us to think it was. Like she wanted us to just believe he didn't like Steve Rogers clapping cheeks and wanted to kill him. And that sounded fucking terrible, right? And apparently it's way more complicated than that. And it's not just more complicated than that. It's the fact that these insiders are saying stuff that resembles things we were already thinking about and rumors that were already out there. So we're not crazy. We weren't really far off of it. We have an idea of what it is with Doctor Doom. And oh my God, this opens up some real crazy possibilities. Like my theory about Iron Man never actually being Tony Stark is still completely on the table. It still works within the context of all of these leaks and rumors. Maybe it'll just be the case that Doom doesn't like the fact that He Who Remains separated him from the sacred timeline, made him irrelevant, and just kept the sacred timeline without the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. That would be enough for Doom to have a vendetta for sure. But if it's also the fact that his variant on the sacred timeline became a hero and became Iron Man, hell yeah, Doctor Doom's gonna be super pissed about that. This is all really fun info, man. There's a lot that you could speculate about this. What are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section. We're also gonna talk about this on the live stream tomorrow. So if you're seeing this on Tuesday, come on by the live stream, or just in general, you can always come by the live streams and ask me any questions that you have about any of this nerdy shit, man. I'll try to get back to you right then and there in the live stream. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.